I've done everything right. I've donated, I've prayed sincerely, I've fasted, I've helped people. So why is this happening to me? You've heard this, or you've said this, haven't you? The truth is that frustration, that anger, that sense of being cheated by life come from a very deep misunderstanding. And here is the uncomfortable truth. Most of what people call spirituality today is nothing more than a transaction, a deal, a silent contract. I will do good so that life will treat me well. I will perform rituals so that life will treat me well. I will go to religious places so that life will treat me well. You call it good karma, you call it devotion, you call it punya, but look closely. It is a bribe. You are offering actions as an insurance premium, expecting protection, rewards, and favorable outcomes in return. You are expecting out-of-turn favors, and when that does not happen, your so-called spirituality collapses. Today, let us examine this clearly through the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, because what you think is good karma may actually be binding you even tighter. There was a man who spent years doing what the world calls good. He donated, helped the poor, sponsored rituals, and supported temples. He was respected, admired, but more importantly, he believed something very strongly, that all this good he had done would protect him, that life now owed him something. Then one day, something went wrong. A serious problem struck his family, and suddenly everything changed. The same man who had given so much now stood in anger and disbelief. Why me? He demanded. After everything I've done, why me? That question reveals everything, because in that moment, his charity was no longer charity. It was an investment, and the return had failed. In the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 17, in shlokas 20, 21, and 22, Krishna classifies giving or charity into three types. Sattvic giving, given as a duty to a deserving person at the right time without expecting anything in return. Rajasic giving, given with expectation, given with recognition, given in the hope of receiving something back. Tamasic giving, given carelessly to the wrong person at the wrong time without respect. Now look carefully. Most people believe they are doing something noble, but internally they are operating in the second category, Rajasic. They give, but they expect. They help, but they remember. They act, but they calculate. And this is where the problem begins, because the moment expectation enters, your action is no longer free. It becomes a contract, and every contract carries the seed of disappointment. When the expected result does not come, frustration arises, anger arises, a sense of injustice arises, and then you say, life is unfair. But life has not cheated you. Your own expectation has. Krishna warns about this clearly in shlokas 42 to 44 in the second chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. In shloka 42, Krishna says, Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadyanti vipashyataha vedavadarataha parthananyadastiti vadinaha. Krishna says that those minds full of desires, attracted by the flowery statements of the Vedas, consider heaven their highest goal. They speak of rights for power and pleasure, believing nothing lies beyond a wealthy life. Attached to such gratification, they are carried away and cannot attain the total determination required for mental equanimity or samadhi. Without a steady mind, there is no clarity. Without clarity, there is no freedom. Now we come to one of the most powerful instructions in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Shloka 47 of the second chapter. Karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbhur mate sangostva karmani. You have authority only over action, never over its result. Do not let the result be your motive, and do not become attached to inaction. This is not a moral instruction. This is a psychological truth. The moment you act for the result, you bind yourself, because now your peace depends on something outside you. something you cannot control, and that is the trap. You act, but your mind is waiting. You give, but your mind is calculating. You live, but your mind is bargaining. This is not freedom. This is dependence. If you do anything with psychological dependence on the result, no matter how noble the action appears, it has lost its right to be called karma yoga. Karma yoga is not about doing good deeds. It means doing what must be done to the best of your ability without inner dependence on the outcome. And when the Bhagavad Gita says, offer whatever you do to Krishna, it is not referring to a person sitting somewhere in the ordinary sense. Krishna is the personification of the total. In Shloka 10:20, he says it himself. I am the self, Arjuna, situated in the hearts of all beings. So this offering is not a ritual. It means act without ego, without ownership, without expectation. Act as part of the total, not as a separate negotiator. The moment expectation enters, it is no longer yoga. It becomes business. Krishna gives a direct solution in chapter 9, Shloka 27. Yat karoshi dashnasi yat juhoshi dadasiyat, yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever you give, whatever austerity you perform, do that as an offering unto me. This is not poetry. This is a method. Act fully. Live fully. Do everything that you must do and never allow your state of mind to depend on the result. Internally, drop ownership, drop expectation, drop the demand for results. Then Krishna continues in Shloka 28, by doing so, you will be freed from the bondage of karma, from both good and bad results. Now this is crucial. Even good karma binds. As long as you're attached, you are not free. When you act as an offering, you're no longer accumulating, you are dissolving. That is karma yoga. That is freedom. Act fully. Act intelligently, act with social responsibility, but do not turn action into a deal, because the moment you do that, you reduce life to a marketplace and you reduce yourself to a trader. When you stop asking life for favors, you stop being a beggar. You stand in your own clarity. That is strength. That is freedom. If you're acting for results, you are not free. If you're giving and expecting, you are not spiritual. You are trading. Life is not running a private bargain with you. It does not care what you gave, whom you gave, how much you gave, or why you gave. It does not owe you anything. So stop pretending your good deeds give you guaranteed protection. They do not. They bind you, not because they are wrong, but because you expect returns for your deeds. That expectation is your prison, not karma, not fate, not life, you. Do not turn action into a bargain. Do not think your good deeds can purchase protection from life. The presence of expectation in the mind, even while performing the noblest of deeds, diminishes the purity of action and bondage begins. But when you do what must be done fully and rightly, without inner dependence on reward, action becomes karma yoga. Then action stops binding and understanding begins to liberate. That is the shift. That is karma yoga. That is freedom. If you've stayed with me this far, you're here for clarity. If this made you pause, stay connected. Please subscribe. Because this is not about motivation, it is about understanding. And understanding changes everything. I wish you clarity above all, because with clarity, health, strength, stability, and peace follow naturally. Thank you.